My name is Camille Bremnor. I am a teacher one at the Diego Martin Government Primary School. I started using penpool.com in about 2009, and initially I had some reservations about using it with my students because I found it focused a lot on drill and practice and really didn't line up with a lot of the authentic type assessments that we were using in the classroom. But I decided that I would give the website a try, and I must say I was very satisfied with the outcomes that I realized using penpool.com. For me, the lightening of the workload was the biggest selling point, where I no longer had to sit and correct items that only have one correct answer. It's either correct or it's incorrect. To me, it didn't seem expedient to continue doing that manually when there was a website there that could support these students and support me as a teacher, thus freeing up time for me to spend with the slower, more challenged students, those who have learning disabilities. This extra time, while my children are working autonomously on their pen and pool assessments, I was able to reroute that time towards helping students who were in dire need of one-to-one instruction. That would not have been possible if I did not have a website like penpool.com that was specifically tailored to the SEA examination. For me, it's an indispensable tool. I can't fathom doing my SEA preparation without it, now that I've become so dependent on it. It's part of my toolkit, and I think it's going to be staying there for a very long time. Reward and recognition. I think I like the recognition more than the reward, because yes, penpool does offer the children rewards, but we don't really want them to become dependent on those rewards. I think what I value more is the recognition, because these students get an opportunity, especially in my case where I was dealing with students who are on the 30% threshold or lower than. The recognition, the pride that they felt at having won something, at having been presented with an academic award, I think that is a bigger plus for me than the actual tokens that they receive. That class that won that pizza class party, I would say they motivated themselves. They had a goal from very early. They had decided we must be the first winners of the class party, and they worked arduously and they achieved their reward. When they had this grand prize and the recognition that they received from seeing the whole school came out, and it was a wonderful experience for them. But they were self-driven as a group, as a cohort, to do that. That was all on them. Kudos to them. I know many people are concerned that the emphasis is on drill and practice, and they are correct. The emphasis is a lot on drill and practice. But what we have to remember as educators is that yes, we do authentic assessment. However, we cannot replace those opportunities for students to gain mastery of basic skills and competencies that they have to have in order to engage in these authentic assessments. How do students achieve mastery? Well, through practice, and I think that's what penpool.com allows students to do. It's a scaffold that allows these students to practice over and over, thereby attaining mastery. A key component of mastery learning is not just the ability to do things repeatedly, but to do things repeatedly the correct way. And that's why the self-correcting aspect, the immediate feedback that students receive when using penandcool.com is indispensable. Now, a student who goes home to do homework, that student has to wait till the next day, the following day, before they can receive any kind of feedback as to whether they did the exercise correctly or whether it was done incorrectly. So have you ever considered that when you give your students homework and there's no one there to correct them immediately, that they do the same wrong thing over and over again, thereby learning the wrong thing? Only when they return to school the following day do they have the opportunity to realize that they have done their assignment incorrectly. That cannot happen with penandcool.com. Why? Because those students would receive immediate feedback. Not only would they get feedback that they are correct or incorrect, but they are also provided with the correct answer. Usually by checking the little box below, they can see how the problem was supposed to be solved, the correct solution. And you cannot replicate that without some type of learning software that enables immediate correcting of the assignment. Penandcool has come a long way from when I first started using it. When I first started using penandcool.com, it was only for SCA students. And I've noticed an incrementally supportive approach on the part of penandcool.com developers, whereby they are now focusing not only on SCA students, but they are following these students, providing them with support throughout their secondary schooling experience. And I applaud that effort. I hope that they continue in terms of that development and that progression. At this point, I'm hoping to see more teachers adopt the use of this technology as part of their routine teaching practice. And the reason I say this is because if we have access to a resource such as penandcool.com and we don't make full use of that resource, we're actually depriving our students of an opportunity to benefit. I've had the privilege of using penandcool.com, and I've also had the challenge of not being able to use it in the classroom. And I was able to see a clear, distinct difference between the learning outcomes that were achieved without the use of this technology and the learning outcomes that were achieved with it. And I must say, the benefits of the program, of using the material, I can't even quantify it. I don't know how to describe. And I can't fathom how teachers who have the infrastructure available could not use this tool. It's an invaluable asset to your toolkit.